boys and girls. Today we're going to be talking about lesson 5, module 9 and 10. And last week when we were talking about lesson 7 and 8, we were talking about halves and 1/4 of the shape or a quarter. So I want us to look back though, and I want us to think about this. If we have a halves, is the halves an equal? Is it smaller or larger? What do you think? Well, if I'm looking at the shape, what would I think? A half. If I cut it down the middle and they have two equal sides, so that is equal. Now, if I look at this shape and I look at this one, they're both circles. But which one do you think has a larger? Which one do you think is larger? The halves or the 1/4 or the quarter? Well, if I'm looking at the shaded part, which one is bigger? The half or the 1/4? The half is bigger. So that would be larger. Now, what about this? What about the rectangle? If I look at this rectangle and I look at this rectangle, which one would be smaller? Which one of these would have the smaller side? Would it be the half or would it be the quarter or 1/4? It would be the quarter or 1/4 because it has the smaller side over here. So when you're thinking about it today and you're doing your work, I want you to think about that. Which one is smaller? Which one is bigger? Or are they equal? Do they have equal sides like these do? These are the same. This shaded part and this unshaded part, they both have equal sides. So I want you to think about that. So I have written right here, let's do the first one together. So this one is half circle is bigger, is larger, smaller, or the same as 1/4 of a circle. Which one would I circle? Is it larger, smaller, or same as? So I want you to think about that. Look at my half circle, look at my 1/4 of a circle, or my quarter circle. Which one is larger? What do you think? It is larger. So a half circle is larger than 1/4 of a circle. Now I'm gonna go down here. 1/4 of a rectangle is larger, smaller, or same as 1/2 of a rectangle. Think about that. What do you think that might be? 1/4 of a rectangle is larger, smaller, or same as a 1/2 of a rectangle. It is what? Smaller, because look, it's only shaded in a small side of the rectangle. As this one is shaded in half of it, it's taken up a lot more room on the rectangle. So when you're doing your lesson, I want you to think about these things and make sure that you're checking. All right, now, when I also was doing my shapes, I was thinking about, I was just playing around with it and I was drawing lines. And I realized while I was drawing lines in a circle, I made so many of the same size triangles inside my circle. So I counted them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I made 12 equal parts inside of my circle. And so then I thought, well, that kind of looks familiar. It almost looks like a clock. Have you ever seen a clock? Remember, we have a clock in our classroom. If you look around your house, you might have a clock. Sometimes they're circle. In our classroom, it was a big circle. And so then I wrote on I wanted to make it into a clock. So I wrote my numbers 1 to 12 around it. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I wrote it on the lines, just like it would be on my clock in my classroom. So then I'm thinking, well, if I keep going, I can keep making my clock. So I have here, this is my clock. And you can see the numbers inside of my clock that I have all the way from 1 to number 12. And I have these two hands here. These are called hands on a clock. I have a big hand, just like this one right here. So the big hand means minutes. And then I have this small hand right here. And this small little hand means the hour. So when I'm looking at my clock, and if you have a clock at home, you can look at this too. When I'm looking at my clock and I see that my small hand is on the hours, which here are my hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are my hours. And when I look and I see that my small hand is pointing towards the hour and my big hand is pointing towards the 12, I would know that this is 1 hour. That's the time of day it would be. But I can't look at my clock and go, oh, it's 1 hour. That doesn't sound right. So I would say it's 1 o'clock. That's what I would say, not 1 hour, 1 o'clock. So now remember, if your big hand is facing the 12 and your little hand is facing one of these numbers, then you would say it is 1 o'clock. Or I could put it facing this number. What number would I say that this time is now? It is 4 o'clock. Then I could put it on a different one. I could put my little hand facing this number. What number is that? That's 8. I could say that is 8 o'clock. So when you're doing your clocks, I want you to think about that. You wouldn't say 1 hour or 8 hour or 10 hour. You would say 1 o'clock, 10 o'clock. You are trying to tell time by the hour. And you also may see your clock at home look like this, like I have on my watch. I have numbers, everybody can see, and I have numbers on my watch, oops, and it looks kind of like this, the digital. So they have a 1 and then a 0, 2 dots in the middle, and then 0, 0. So I would say that's 1 o'clock. Then I have a 9 down here, kind of the same thing, 9 with the 0, 0, that would be 9 o'clock. If there's a 0, 0, I would say o'clock. So when you're at home and you see this, you might have it like sitting at your table or in your nightstand. You might have like a little clock right there, or in the kitchen or something. You can tell what time it is by the hour by looking. And if it has 0, 0, it's o'clock. And if it's 0, and if it has the 0, 0, your big hand would be on the 12. So those are things for you to think about when you start looking at the time. So make sure that when you're doing your homework, look to see where is the little hand pointing to. That tells us the hour. That's the little hand. And where is the big hand pointing to? If it's on the 12, that tells us it's 0, 0 o'clock, just like it has on our digital. So I want you to keep those things in mind. And if you need to, go back and rewatch the video so it can help you. And thank you so much.